Well, hey kids, hey parents, happy Sunday to you. Today we're going to keep moving through. We're getting really close to the end of the Old Testament, at least the timeline of what was happening there. Remember, the people got kicked out of the land because of their idolatry and their injustice towards each other, and then God brought them back, just like He promised. Well, then they rebuilt the temple, and God's presence came back. And see, that was His temple. It wasn't like His address in a sense, but it was a place where He made His presence come in a very special way to bless them and to be with His people. Now, things are different now. We'll get into that in a minute. But see, I've got this box here, and you can tell the lighting is different than normal. So I've got this box, and we've got light in here, okay? Now, this light, and even if you could see around me, this is from like the stage that's in the next kid room. It's just around this front area. It's not all over the room. It's focused in one spot. Well, God, He is everywhere. That's one of the things about God. He is everywhere. But He made His presence come into the temple in a very special way. Actually, God's presence filled it. There was this glory cloud and this brightness. So the priest would see, and then the people even saw it when Solomon dedicated the temple, that God was there in a very important and special way, different than He was, at some mountain or at the river or wherever else that God may be. And so when God was there, they had to come. That's where they made their sacrifices, and they worshiped Him there in a special way. But now, God's temple is not, it's not when you come to church. This is not the place where God lives, this building. God lives in His people. He sends His Holy Spirit. And so if I were to give you like a candle or a light or a flashlight to walk around to have that light, that would be a picture of that. Rather than it just being focused here in one spot, God goes with His people. And so for everybody that trusts in Jesus, we have God's presence in us. And we can help bring that to other people when we serve them and when we love them. And so that's something for you to think about. If you trust Jesus, how can you bring His presence to other people and show that? Show His character and His goodness and His love. You can do that right there with your family, with your friends. If you don't trust Jesus, that's something to talk to your mom and dad about too. That God's presence is not in your life in the same way as it is with someone who does trust Him. So talk about that with each other and just spend some time thinking about that and this great promise that God gives us His Spirit now. And it says in the New Testament that it's a down payment or a promise, a deposit, that more is coming, that one day we'll be with the Lord. And it says we won't even need a son because God Himself and the Lamb, Jesus, they will give light to the new creation. And so we're going to be with God, and the light won't just be in one little place. God will put out the light, and His people will be with Him forever. That's a day I'm looking forward to. Now, I hope that you guys have a good week, and I do have one more thing for you, and it is the word of the week. And so I won't be here this Sunday. I'm going on a trip with some college students from our church, and so your word for the week is skiing. So if you think about me today, pray for me, pray that there's some good spiritual fruit that comes from this, and pray that I don't get hurt skiing down the mountain, because I've never been skiing before. All right, guys, I hope that you have a good week. Take care.